Good evening, everybody. So we're going to do our first letter to the editor review. It's Wednesday. My local paper comes out on Wednesdays. Came in the mail today, so we're going to do our first review. As a reminder, I am in Jefferson County, Missouri, Representative District Mo 08. So let's pop the paper open here. Let's find our way to the letters to the editor. Man pleads guilty to robbing 3 banks. County Council likely to deny plans for homeless center near Hillsboro. That's awesome. Let's see. International overdose. Here we go. All right. Let's get our first one out here. All right. So it looks like the first one really isn't politically related. It's from a lady named Linda in DeSoto, Missouri. To the editor, the New Hope Outreach Center is seeking a permit to convert the long vacant Opal's restaurant and motel into a transitional housing center for homeless people. The motel buildings would house only 4 people to start. The restaurant would be rehabbed into a resource center, and the 6-month program would include vocational training, GED classes, counseling, and health services. That sounds nice. New Hope is partnering with Compass, formerly Comtree, which, for those not in the Missouri area, is it's a private drug and alcohol counseling um, funded by the county. So New Hope is partnering with Compass, Comtree, the Jefferson County Health Department, Jefferson Franklin Community Action Corporation, and Mercy Hospital to provide these services. The Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Commission, which advises the County Council on land issues, voted 6-2 on July 13th to recommend approval of the permit. Linda says that she attended the August 14th County Council meeting along with about 125 other people. 2/3 of those who spoke voiced their approval for this well-planned and needed project. It is an ideal location on 6 acres utilizing existing unused buildings. A win-win for Jefferson County all around. I was stunned when the County Council voted 4-2 in favor of a resolution to deny the permit, despite the public support. Ignoring the will of the people on this issue should not be tolerated. Please contact your council representative and ask them to vote to approve, not deny, a permit for the New Hope Outreach Center. The next and likely final vote is set for August 28th council meeting. Show your support by attending and fill out the yellow card before the meeting begins so you can voice your opinion. So I will say that this sounds like an awesome idea. Taking structures that currently exist and turning them into a center to help homeless people. We had just into the St. Louis area, and just so you know, I'm in the suburb of St. Louis. Down in the city, there was a Reverend Larry Rice for years, had a homeless center down in the city. Did a lot of good for a lot of people. And the city just recently closed that in the last few years. So there's definitely a need. So, yes, Linda from DeSoto, we will be supporting your uh, New Hope Center. All right. All right. Oh, here's another one. This sounds like it's going to be in opposition to that center, but let's take a read here. While site for proposed shelter is good, lack of compassion is not. And this is from Dale in Hillsboro, Missouri. Dale writes to the editor, Jefferson County has a serious problem with homeless people, but apparently no one wants to acknowledge it. A recent Leader story reported that the county council was about to reject a second attempt by the New Hope Outreach Center to build a homeless shelter. I am very familiar with the area where they want to put it. It's on Old Highway 21, which I drove daily 30 years ago before the new highway was built, in buildings that have been vacant for decades. Even when Old Highway 21 was a major north-south route into and out of Jefferson County, there was not a high concentration of businesses or housing development along it. Since the new highway was built, the level of commercial activity along Old Highway 21 is likely less today. The article listed the different agencies that would support the homeless facility and the people living there. At the last council meeting, the crowd of those in favor of the shelter was almost double those who were opposed to it, and the zoning commission had previously, by a 6-2 vote, voted to recommend it. This is just another example of not in my backyard syndrome. Homeless people are not a serious threat to society, they are just trying to survive. The facility would help them do that and transition them out of homelessness. It's a terrible shame in our society that we cannot have more compassion for the less fortunate. Okay, so Dale is on board with the homeless center as well. Again, this is in cooperation with Jefferson County Health Department, a Community Action Corporation, and Mercy Hospital, which Mercy is one of the major health systems in the St. Louis area. So impact on taxpayers, I'm not seeing anywhere. I'm going to have to look into that, but it sounds like it's a good deal. All right, moving on. We have a letter here from Stephen in DeSoto. The title is Like the Column But. So let's read Stephen's letter here to the editor. In his recent column on No Labels Movement, which I concurred with, Patrick Martin, who is a regular writer of this paper, made mention of Jay Nixon's official position as Director of Ballot Integrity, and I almost spewed a mouthful of tea. Like Nixon, I come from DeSoto, and I was his classmate and fellow Boy Scout. In his previous professional incarnation before he became a state senator, I was his customer. I feel the need to point out that the word integrity can be mutually exclusive from any noun it is attached to. As for the No Labels movement, it is my opinion that sooner will a camel pass through the eye of a needle than a great man will be discovered by an election. This especially applies here. So I'm not really sure what the No Labels movement was. As I said, Patrick Martin is a regular contributor to this particular paper. Jay Nixon is a state senator here in Missouri, but obviously Stephen is not happy. All right, moving on. Looks like we got two more this week. This one is from Rita in Imperial, Missouri. Headline is No matter what we're told, taxes always go up. Isn't that a fact? So to the editor, this is in response to letters printed concerning the recent Fox C6 school district's tax proposition, which failed August 8th. Just so for anyone who's watching, Fox C6 is the local school district. They had a petition on the ballot to increase property taxes again so they get a little more money. That failed handily. She continues, while my home is not in that district, my comments concern all tax rate hikes. The school district reported no tax increases since 2004, but that doesn't tell the whole story. No, Rita, it does not. While there may have been no increase in the tax rate, everyone is paying more taxes because your tax bill is calculated on the value of your home. Most working Americans keep only about 50% of their income after taxes, federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security taxes, sales taxes, real estate taxes, personal property taxes, and more. And what happened to all that revenue from the gambling that was supposed to go to our schools? When wages go up, we pay more taxes. When the price of food, clothes, automobiles, and the like go up, we pay more taxes. In my opinion, we're all taxed enough already. Hallelujah, Rita. Rita, that is absolutely 100% true. We are taxed to the gills, and it needs to stop. We really need to, at the federal level, rein in federal spending, decrease federal government. It's my opinion, personally, that the state should be the primary taxing authority. Pretty much any services, any entitlement programs should be run by the states. The federal government should be getting as little money as possible to only do those things that are enumerated in the Constitution. So I'm right there with you. Not to mention that in the Fox C6 school district, particularly over the last 10 years or so, there's been a great population increase, a lot of building of homes in the area. So a lot more personal property tax, or a lot more property tax revenue coming into the county, particularly Fox C6. Looks like the last one here is about executions. In Missouri, we are a FRIAM state. So this is by another Steve in Imperial this time. Headline is State Sanctioned Execution is a Pro-Death Action. To the editor, on August 1, the state of Missouri intentionally took the life of a convicted criminal. After Governor Mike Parson denied a request for clemency. Yes, by God, we did. Missourians gave Parson this responsibility empowered by electing him. First-degree murder is intentional and premeditated. The August 1st execution contains both criteria. Since 2000, Missouri has executed 56 people, so I offer this as food for thought for all of us. While none of us can forget nor overlook the injustices that these convicted criminals have committed, how can we justify the act of taking another's life? How can some of us be pro-life and pro-death at the same time? There are 12 more felons on death row in Missouri. Will our state kill them also? I continue to pray at home and at church that we can be better humans, have a higher regard for human life, and that all of you will join in praying to stop the continued murders. So, first of all, I find it a little weird that Steve is invoking prayer. So obviously, a God-fearing man. We know from the Bible, eye for an eye. We also know from Jesus' teachings, turn the other cheek. How can you be pro-life and pro-death at the same time? So the pro-life argument, particularly around abortion, is it's an innocent child, right? The child has done nothing to warrant being killed. We don't take life for no reason. The pro-death penalty is particularly for the heinous nature of these crimes. And I know there are people on death row who've been found not guilty. Ultimately, that they weren't the perpetrators of the crime. But if you have undisputed evidence that someone committed such a heinous crime, as murdering a child or raping and murdering a woman, they don't belong on the planet anymore. I'm sorry, they just don't. I would even consider child molestation to be a execution worthy offense. I would like to see it expanded to child exploitation, child molestation. But yes, being pro-life on the abortion side, pro-death on the execution side are in no way contradictory with each other. It's two completely separate arguments. It's two completely different issues. As to being better humans, overall, we all need to be better humans. We all need to treat each other better. But I have no qualms with some of these executions, as long as we know we're getting it right. And I think we've gotten a lot better over the years at getting these right. So those are our letters to the editor for this week, August 24th, 2023. Looking forward to the debate tonight. Going to do a debate review after. So thank you for watching and have a good evening.